Well, it's been a while. I haven't done a live on Facebook. Just waiting for this live to build up. Thank you for coming in. I need to respond to my brother James Bond on City Council. He had a mouthful to say this morning. Hey Rochelle, how you doing? How you doing? You know the thing about you, Rochelle, is that I know that you and your mom, experiencing as a vendor at the market, the West Rand market, so you can verify some of the things that I'm talking about from a vendor perspective, So I'm gonna wait until this live reaches about a couple of maybe. Hey Shay, how you doing? So I'm here to respond to James. James is a friend of mine. He's a brother, and my hope is that whenever we come to the nation, whenever we come to the people of this country, what we would do is just be honest with them. It's the least that we can do. All right, good day, Guyana News Update. It's the least we can do. And so I need to let the nation know what is going on. So the PPP has launched its LGE campaign. They launched it yesterday. The president has announced what he called a revival of the city of Georgetown. Massive infrastructure update, roads, bridges, hotels, maintenance of cemeteries and stuff like that. He has launched it. And basically, it's his campaign. It's the LG campaign. And we know that the plan of the PPP is to take the city. Because it's kind of like embarrassing to be in government, having that kind of seat majority and not have control of the city. And so that's the approach. That's the strategy. That's the goal of the PPP. And so the issue that we had was a woman was injured, had a bridge mishap in Linden, and then the mayor came out and talked about it, and the prime minister responded. And so James defended the prime minister, and then he subsequently came on after the back and forth, and he said that there is much noise being made about it, and he went on to basically started beating the council of the city. The city of Georgetown, the truth being is that the city of Georgetown is not in a condition that we can be proud of. Nobody can be proud of it. I am not proud of it. I'm an APNU, I'm an incoming APNU MP. I'm not proud of the city of Georgetown. There's no PPP councillor that can say they're proud of the city of Georgetown. But Miss Chase Green, who is like family, my mother's friend. I have respect for her. But the truth is, she was at city council. And under her tenure, she can tell you, and I hope that she would be honest, she can tell you of the challenges that she faced as mayor, that her administration faced as mayor in getting the city to a respectable place. She was never able to do it. Now she's a PPP, her choice. Everybody must respect that. Now she's a PPP. She's still faced with the challenge, even as a PPP councillor on the board. And James said that those that manage the city is incompetent. What he's also saying is that each PPP councillor on city council is also incompetent because they form a part of the management construct of the city. So if the mayor is incompetent and all of the APNU councillors are incompetent, I would reason that the PPP councillors are also incompetent. But the argument he's going to push back is to say that, no, the PPP councillors doesn't have the majority vote. Well, by that same reasoning, let us blame the government, because there are a number of things that the government would have done There are a number of things that the government would not have done that literally has guaranteed the failure of the city council to adequately maintain and deliver to us a city that we can be proud of. So James, in his argument, in his push, as part of his local government campaign strategy, decides to target a few folks, some NDCs. And he said that, one of the things he said is that they collect some big salaries. Here's the problem I have. I believe that as a Christian, as I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, I believe we bring something different to politics. We have to be able to be honest. And even if we don't know all the facts, the little that we know, we must put it out there. And I think that when I look at Kioma, who's an MP, when I look at Sherrod Duncan, when I look at James Bond, when I look at myself, I'm thinking that we can bring, people say politics is dirty, but I think we have an opportunity to bring a different brand of politics to this country. But what I saw this morning from James Bond was a clear display that his belief system somehow got messed up. Because there's no way you can be a believer and have the facts and you can come live on Facebook. James, you're my brother. And this is no personal attack. But you cannot come on this internet. You cannot come, as people say, come on for the internet. Right? And look at the people of this country square in the face and tell them the things that you said, yet you told them. Let us look at it. He said that these guys in the NDC, these councillors, collect the big fat salaries and they sit and they do nothing. Guyanese people, let me tell you the truth. You are not aware of the salaries that these guys collect. Let me tell you, at the NDC level, a councillor at the NDC level receives 7,000 Guyana dollars per month to be a councillor. That alone, the mere sacrifice that these councillors make to attend meeting, come out of their own pockets to pay for transportation, to do the work of the people, they have no incentive other than that $7,000 that they get. The government is aware of this. James Bond is aware of this. The mayor, everybody's aware of this. The vice president is aware of this. That is what they get. So when James Bond talk about a fat salary, what is he talking about, James? What are you talking about, brother? When you look at the City Council of Georgetown, the councillors at the City Council get $66,000 per month as part of a management structure or a group of managers that is supposed to run this country. Tell me, James, can you survive on $66,000 a month? Do you expect Mr. Wayne Mason to survive on $66,000 a month? Do you expect Dexter Ford to survive on $66,000 a month? And then you go saying, you know what, they don't walk the streets, they don't do this. Listen, you're walking the streets because you're funded by government money. That is the truth. That is the truth. When you were a part of the APNU, how much times you walked the street? Did you walk the street constantly in the manner in which you walk it now? No, you did not. Because you didn't have the resources to do those things. But now that you're a PPP and the money is probably doled out to you, I don't know, you have resources and you walk the street. And now that you walk in the street, you're coming back now to look at these guys who you were comrades with, who you knew the limitations they had. And you're going to use it because you're launching a political campaign for LG, and you come to this nation and you literally speak a whole lot of things that are not true. You understand? Now, the other thing he mentioned is that in the city, he has photos of people in the markets, and people in the markets, they're vending under deplorable conditions. James, Guyanese people, let me tell you this. The city council, let us look at Stabroek Market. The city council collects $5 million from 737 stalls. in the enclosed part of Starbrook Market. The city council collects $5,400,000. Let me do some maths for you. 5,400,000 divided by 737. On average, on a monthly basis, a stall owner pays $7,327. That is the average. $7,327. That's the average that the city collects for that 737 stalls. Now, tell me, man, where in this world can you transact business? Who's going to rent you a place for $7,000 a month? But let us not go there, because it's not a fight between the vendors, the stallholders, and the city. I'm bringing to your attention, Guyanese people, the deceitfulness of the politicians that come to you to lie to you because they want to make another politician look bad. If the city collects $5,400,000, let us go through what they would do with it. And I would hold them accountable. I hold no brief for the mayor or any of the councillors, even though I'm a part of the party, but let us speak the truth. The employment cost is 2.4. 5,400,000 minus 2,400,000. That leaves $3 million, right? That leaves $3 million. We have not considered waste disposal as an expense. There's waste disposal. Mr. Nevisila, how much you daddy got? Now, you see, this is the problem with Guyanese, you know. He cannot even come on this live, listen to what I'm saying, have some sort of facts and respond, you know. But anyway, that's what you get. We must be able to have a civil conversation. Right now, you got $3 million from $5,400,000. The employment cost, which excludes security, is $2.4 million. You're looking at a remainder of $3 million. We have not accounted for waste disposal, which most likely is through the roof. We're not talking about sanitation to get rid of roaches, rats, and all of these things. That's expensive. You know, I don't even want to tell you my expense on that. And then we look at security costs. Right? The city constabulary provides security for that. But if it was to break it out and to provide security as a cost to the market, what are we talking about, James? What are we talking about, James? Where is the money for maintenance, James? Where is the money that you said that these NDCs and councils have sufficient money to do the works that you are claiming that they did not do? The Starbrook Market, the enclosed part, the flooring needs lifting. That is a significant capital expenditure. Where are they getting that money from? Obviously, they can't get it from the revenues they collect from the stallholders. They have to get it from someplace else. What has the government done to help the city to deliver a garden city to this country? Nothing. Because the government does not control City Hall. And so, for them to give City Hall the appropriate subvention, you know, that would meet their needs, that would allow them to function properly, they know that those in City Council or the AP and UPNC would get some praise from the people. And the government does not want that because it is a political nightmare for them. And so what they do is hold back the funds. So let's talk about that. In 2020, the City Council got no subvention from the government. 2021, 22, 23, 24, and 25, they got $30 million as a subvention from the government, James. You tell me, what can $30 million do to help this city? Ask the government how much they're spending to fix the Le Rapidier cemetery. It is more than $30 million. It's hundreds of millions of dollars probably they're spending. So you were saying to me, you're giving the managers of the city a subvention of $30 million. And you expect them to work magic? You've given the city council under the leadership of the AP and UPNC basket to fetch water. They've lobbied this government. They've said to them, listen, we need to review the rates and taxes. We need to review. Let me be honest with you. I live in South Ranville. First of all, let me tell you this. I traveled to Missouri to a family's house. They pay their rates and taxes. They get on a weekly basis, they have an allowance of one garbage bin, one garbage to take out. If they only get two, they have to go to the supermarket, buy the sticker for a couple of dollars and put it on that extra garbage can, or garbage bin as we would call it. That is how, they're able to earn revenue and to deliver the necessary services that the people need as a city. In Guyana, we basically strangled the managers of the city. We strangled the progress of the city because the government refuses to do a re-evaluation of the properties. Now you're living in South Rhineville. You're living in South Rhineville. Tell me, you're living in South Rhineville. You're living in a 25 by 60 house. Every week you're putting out 2 garbage bins and you're paying $14,000 a year. Now I'm not advocating, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, hey, increase the rates and taxes on people. I am saying that the work that the city council and the services they have to deliver, it costs more than they earn. And the government is aware of this. James Bond is aware of this. The city councillors are aware of this. The mayor is aware of this. Every one of them are aware of this. Yet, they would see the city being strangulated and they would come for political mileage and come on, as you say, for the internet and then say, you know what? These guys are doing a terrible job. You cannot give somebody a basket to fetch water and expect them to pull a drum. You cannot. It is unfair to these men to give them a stipend of $66,000. They brave the weather. They have gas. They got transportation. They don't get meals. And then when they sit at that council meeting, they don't have the resources to deliver to this country. It's not that they're incompetent. When you give them sufficient money to do what they have to do, then you can talk about incompetence. Then you can talk about incompetence. You talk about incompetence when a government spends $5+ trillion over a 5-year period and Guyanese are still suffering because the cost of living is through the roof. That is what you call economical incompetence, because we're unable to manage this economy in a way that the Guyanese people do not feel the burden of what's going on. But this is not about the government. We're going to have a different conversation and there's a different time to talk to the government and this country about that. But for now, let us look at James Bond and what he is saying. Bond, what you're saying as a brother, I would have thought that you being a parliamentarian, when everybody cuss you out and views you out that you're this and you jump, my lips were sealed. You know why? Because it's your democratic right. You know why? Because you're a brother of mine and you did nothing wrong in my eyesight. The people who you were comrades with before, they have a different feeling. But I have no such reservations because at the end of the day, you didn't do me anything. You and I are brothers. But what I'm saying, what I expected from you is having the information. You and the mayor's friend, you got the information. You could have called Alfred and you could have asked him for some information and you could have gone back to your people. You could have gone back to your people and you could have said to the VP and the president, Mr. President, in all honesty, yes, there might be instances where we can blame the council. But the truth is, without money, these problems that we expect the council to fix, the services that we expect them to deliver, they cannot in good conscience deliver it because they do not have the resources. You talk about the resources. What resources, James? What resources, bro? $30 million subvention? And let me tell you about the subvention. I called the councillor from a PPP NDC who said that even in their NDC, the monies that they get is insufficient to do the work that they want to do in the PPP NDC. Another councillor from an APNU NDC says when the PPP gives the PPP NDC certain amount of money, they said they get half. They went on to say this. There was an increase for workers. Let me get the information that there was an increase for workers. And it took almost 6 months for the government to hand over the payment that would allow them to give the workers their increase. 6 months. That is incompetence. How could you announce an increase and 6 months after you cannot deliver it to the people who you promised it to? We're talking about incompetence. That is incompetence. I guess now I understand why we need a Ministry of Efficiency. Because inefficiency permeates the entire government system. Right through. But let us get back to the point, because this is not about government, central government. This is about what James Bond said to this nation. Singled out Constituency 5. Singled out the issues in Constituency 5. Attacked Dexter Ford personally that he's lazy because he doesn't walk the constituency. You know what it takes to walk a constituency. Know that it is flooding. You are the councillor. The council doesn't have money to fix it. Right? You go back to your people. Your people tell you fix the flooding. The government strangles the city council. You know what is that? You know how that feels? To be helpless? That is what the government has created, James. That is what your government has created. As of let me get this information. As of 2023, the government owed the city council. What's the number? Hold on. Let me get this information for you, because I don't want to be wrong. Blah, 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 30. How much billions? Billions of dollars. I think it's almost 16 or thereabout. But I don't want to get it wrong. But the government owes the city council in rates and taxes billions of dollars in rates and taxes. Billions of dollars that they refuse to pay. The government, the same government that made James Bond an MP, that launched a local government campaign for 2025, 2026. That same government owes the city billions and billions. I think it's 19, hold on, let me get this. Government owes city council billions in rates and taxes, blah, blah, blah. Run through this number 2020, 0. Hold on, give me a second, Facebook. Let me make sure. Guyana Power and Light owes about 10 billion. GPL owes the city about 10 billion. GPL alone owes the city about 10 billion. And then you're gonna come here, man, and talk about these guys in doing the work and they're incompetent and they have the resources. They do not have the resources. They do not have the resources, Mr. Kwesi Gilbert. Sometimes you just got to just listen. A good listener is a good learner. I give you the facts. You want some facts again? The market collects $5.4 million. The enclosed part of the market from vendors, $5.4 million per month from 737 stalls at an average of $7,327 per month. The employment cost for the market is $2.4 million. There's waste disposal, sanitation, and security costs. Tell me, where is the city going to find millions of dollars to raise the flooring? Where are they going to find it? Where are they going to find the money to maintain those stars? Where are they going to find the money to fix the roof? Where are they going to find money to fix the plumbing? Where? But we have a central government who has spent $5 trillion, over $5 trillion in a 5-year period. And they've done nothing to help the city. Nothing to help the city. What they did for political mileage is bypass the administrators of the city. And they went to do some stuff in the communities to make it appear as though the councillors are incompetent and they're stepping in as a savior. Let me tell you this. James said, this is what James said. James said, the councillors in the APNU embassies and the city councils controlled by APNU, James said that they do nothing with the hope that things would deteriorate and they would blame the city. James, here's the fact. That is not an APNU thing. That is not an APNU thing. That is a PPP thing. It was a minister of the PPP who said that he wished a health crisis in the city, that he wished the city would experience a health crisis. He wished the city would experience a health crisis. That is the modus operandi. That was always the vision. That was always the plan. Starve the city of resources because it is controlled by APNU. Starve the city of resources, cause them to fail, highlight the failures, highlight their inability to deliver quality service and maintain certain infrastructure, and then bring it to the people, and then the people is going to swallow it up, and then you're going to step in like the savior. That is the game plan of the PPP all the time. Nothing has changed. And as Guyanese, we have to be educated, and we have to be knowledgeable, and we just have to put ourselves in a position where we could see through this trickery. If the PPP truly loves Georgetown, truly loves this city, and really wants to, if I was the president, I would have struck up a good relationship with the main city council. I would have constantly engaged them. I would have let them know, listen, this is our city. What can I do to assist you? Tell me, what are your programs that you would want to execute, that you don't have the funds to execute? Prove to me. Show me your budget. Peruse that budget when it is delivered. Whenever they give you those programs, those projects, you go, you scrutinize the projects. If you want to choose someone that you believe is competent enough to deliver it, you work with them, and allow these things to be delivered. But no, you know what? We're going to do a road that is controlled by the city council. We're going to figure out who's the contractor. We're going to pay him. And then we're going to come to this nation and say to them, you know what? We had to do this road because the city was unable to do it because, you know why? They're incompetent. You know, that is what we're doing. That is the kind of politics we're playing with the lives of people in this country. People work hard in this country. They toil, bought their homes, settle in this city, contribute to the national income through business and hard work, only to be saddled with an administration that plays politics with their lives, that strangles the city. I keep using this word, strangle, stifle, stagnate the city of the necessary finance it needs, and then come to you like a savior, you know, and tell you, hey, these people are your worst enemies. So he points out to constituency 5, and he says, we're coming for constituency 5. James, you guys tried that before. You guys tried that before, and you're coming for constituency 12. Well, I'm in constituency 14. You come for constituency 12, because I can tell you that we will walk the constituency 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12, all the way to 14. And I will let them know that your government owes the city council and refuse to pay. That your government only gives the city council of Georgetown, the biggest city in this country, $30 million subvention. Only $30 million. And you expect them to work magic. That is dishonest. That is dishonest. And then we come to this country and look at them saying, oh yeah, you know, we're the people that you should trust. I could tell you, you've done well. What you've done well is to sell this notion of incompetence of the city council. I'm not saying the city council don't have its faults, but I'm saying to you that it is under-resourced. And the government has everything in its power. Give them an opportunity to give the city an opportunity to earn more. Because there are instances where the city can earn more. There are big houses in Bel Air, Lamar Gardens, with pool, swimming pool. Ask them what is their rates and tax when the year comes. And ask those same owners who have properties in the US how much they pay in rates and taxes in the US for properties that are half the size of that. You ask them how much they pay and you would see the disparity. So when you travel this country and you look at green spaces and you see cities that are well kept, they're not kept by magic. They're not kept by a central government or a federal government that stifles the city. They're given every opportunity to manage their business. The government holds the key. Holds that key. And they've not given the city a chance to do it. But you know what? Throw them a 30 million and say to the public, we've given them enough. We've given them 30 million. Like if 30 million is a whole lot of money. 30 million, let me tell you 30 million. I'm in South Rhineville. And if I was a councillor for South Rhineville, and you give me $30 million, it is insufficient to even upkeep South Rhineville. To clean the drains of South Rhineville, to weed the parapets, and empty the garbage. 30 million is insufficient on a monthly basis. And you're telling me you're giving an entire city that? No, I'm not going to take that in isolation of the fact that the city earns revenue. But the truth of the matter is the revenues that the city earns is insufficient. Let the government go to the government. Sit with the VP, James. Sit with your VP and say to him, VP, let us be honest about this man. Maybe they're incompetent councillors on both sides. But VP, we have not equipped these people. We've not given them the resources they need. We've not engaged with them honestly. We've not tried to build a relationship with them. What we've done is play politics with the city. Tell him straight up. Tell him straight up, because tell him, Tocqueville Church that you used to go to suffers because of that. They're a part of the city, the same church you used to go to. That your friends that you got, they live in the city and they suffer too. Tell him that your brother Saiku, you understand, also lives in the city. And he is a victim also of the city being unable to deliver quality service. Tell him that. And let him know that, you know what? I am here. I'm in PPP. But you know what? I have to be honest because I'm a Christian. Tell him that. And tell him at the minimum, he needs to provide the city with $1 billion in subvention. $1 billion in subvention. And when he gives them that resource and they fail, then you can come back to us and say to us, listen, you have failed. We give you $1 billion in addition to the revenue you earn, and you've done nothing. And I, Saiku Andrews, is telling you, I am telling you that I would look at the city council, it's square in the face, and those members and say to them, you have failed. You should be fired because you have the resources and you've done nothing. But that is not the case. That is not the case, James. And so it is dishonest for you to come here and say that. No, I'm not trying to call you a liar and all of that. Let me put it this way. You have chosen to not bring the facts to the table. You have chosen to be a typical politician on this matter. You have chosen to be a typical politician on this matter. And I personally, regardless of what people say, I expected better from you. And I will hold you to that. And you can do the same for me. You can call me, you can say, Saiku, I expect better from you. You know? But don't come here and do this. That you're coming for constituency 12. Yeah, it's your dream. Your dream. Come for constituency 12. Do the work in constituency 12. But be honest about it. We're going to be walking and we're going to be letting the people know, because one of the things that probably the councillors never did was knock on each door and say, this is the reality of our situation. This is the reality of our situation. And we're going to go to those constituencies. We're going to walk, even if we got walking rubber slippers. And we're going to let them know. And we're going to put the facts together and let them know. This is the reality. This is the reality of it on the ground. I really want to get this information of how much money the city owes so that you guys can understand. So when he come, you ask him, Starbrook News, City Council owes billion in taxes. I need to get this information. I was just talking to William and he gave me, you know, and then the goalpost shifts a whole lot of frivolous things. But the truth of the matter is, the monies that the council, the market committee collects from the market is insufficient to do the works of the market. It is insufficient to do proper maintenance of the market. And what do you expect? it will deteriorate. It will. The Monrepo market was done by the government. It wasn't done by the NDC. The Monrepo market, the market at Monrepo, who did the market at Monrepo? Was it the Monrepo NDC? They have a nice structure there. Millions and millions of dollars was spent on it. Who did it, James? Was it the NDC at Monrepo? No. It was the government of Guyana that did it. So tell me why the government of Guyana cannot go and refurbish the Stabroek market. Why they cannot go and do that just the way they did it at Monrepo, or that they did on the Diamond, the Grove Diamond market tarmac. Why they didn't do that? And you're gonna come here and blame the council. Why you don't blame the people at Monrepo? Blame the councillors at Monrepo. Blame the NDC at Monrepo. And say to them that they were incompetent, you know? Right? It is just crazy, man. We got to lift our politics to a different level, man. There has to be things you can argue about, James, that will put you in a better position to win votes. But you don't have to lie about it. Or you don't have to withhold the facts. You don't have to. I don't have to. I can tell people, I can talk to people every day, all day, about why they should vote for APNU over the PPP, because I can do the comparison. I can do the comparison. And you know what's the funny thing, James? You guys behave as though the PPP was in power for 5 years, and this is their 6th year. 2026 is going to be their 6th year. That is not true. It has been 28 out of the last 33 years. For 23 years prior, you held the city hostage. You came back from 2020 to 2025. You continue to hold the city hostage. You know what is the difference? Let me tell you the difference. Any Guyanese that want to be honest, any citizen of Georgetown that wants to be honest, let them tell you that the condition of the city of Georgetown under the APNU was in tip-top shape in comparison to when the PPP was in government. Why was that so? Because the APNU did what it had to do with its limited resources to making sure that the city had some semblance of enough resources to do the work. And even though the city did not get as much as they needed, at least the government gave them something. And look what they did with it. Look at the condition of the city. Let us talk about Bartica. Bro, under the APNU, look at Bartica becoming a town. Look at Bartica. Look at the condition of the boulevard and the streets. Look at it now. Under your party stewardship, look at it now. The boulevard needs maintenance. You're doing a whole lot of roads, but the boulevard needs maintenance. I'm just I'm just showing you a balance. Two sides of the coin. When the APNU was there in power, the city looked better. The PPP has been there for 23 years. They ran the city down because they did not support the council. 5 years, from 2020 to 2025, the same thing happened. Now you're coming here fresh off the heels of a victory at the GRE, and now you're saying at LGE, the reason you're supposed to win Constituency 5 and take the city is because these people are incompetent. Well, I am going to defend them. I am going to defend them. I'm saying to you, give them the resources they need. Give them the resources they need. Allow them to manage the city the way they want to manage it. Allow them do a re-evaluation of the properties in the city. Do that. And when the city is able to earn enough revenue, you come to me and you say, look, they have enough and they have failed. Until such time, you have no point. You have no point. Because you're not dealing with facts. 7,000, you said these people sit down on big salary, James. Where did you get that? Big salary? Big salary? $7,000 a month you pay a council and you say it's a big salary. $66,000 you pay a city councilor as a stipend and you say they sit salary. You saying that these men whose support base is in the city, you're saying that these men deliberately do not do no work in the city so that they can blame the government? That is what you're saying? When it was your minister, a minister of your government who said he wished, he was only expressing the end game of their strategy. He said he wished that a health crisis breaks out in the city. He said that. A government minister said that. That is the plan. The plan is to starve the city. And when it fails and fails and fails, they'll continue to lie to the people of this country, lie to the people of this constituency, and they would believe a lie and say, you know what, let us give you the city. You control the city. Have enough seats to control the city. Huh? That is it. And it is dishonest. And it is for that reason that the people of Georgetown should never allow the PPP Civic to have control of the city. Never. They should never allow it. They should never allow it. I could just imagine if you don't care about these people to the extent that you could hold back these kind of money and then blame the city council, what will you do when those people owe rates and taxes? What will you do? It's only time before you probably put them out of their own house. And I'm saying that based on the fact that your actions show me that you don't care about the people. All you care about is politics. So it's only time before you look at some prime real estate that people are unable to pay rates and taxes for and have owed a number of rates and taxes, and you decided, you know what, we control the city, we're going to take it. But listen to me, Georgetown, we're not going to make this mistake come 2026 local government election. As a matter of fact, we need to force the government to do right by the city. We need to send a message to this government that you have to equip the city. You have to help maintain the city. You have to finance the city council and allow the people to do their work. And the only way we could send that message is a rejection of the PPP at the local government elections. Let us maintain, put the APNU back there. Region, constituency 1 to 14. Send the message. Because unless you send a clear message to this government, it will continue to believe that they can continue with this strategy of victimization and that you will buy it, hook, line, and sinker, and deliver the city to them. You have to send a message. And I'm encouraging every person in the city, constituency 14, 12, East, West, North, Rhineville, 13, Lodge, South Georgetown, as I call it, the forgotten part of Georgetown. You need to come out in your numbers, unprecedented, and vote resoundingly and send a message to this government that unless you do right by the people that we elect, we've elected those persons, and unless you respect us and do right by these people and allow them to do their jobs so that we can have a good life, we will not respect you, we will not consider you, we will not give you our vote. That is the message we have to send. That is the message we have to send to this government. For too long, we've allowed this government to get away with foolishness. It's bare PR. It's bare PR stunt. We tired of PR. We want tangible results. We want to feel the blessing. We want to feel it. We want to feel it in our belly. We want to feel it in our bank accounts. We want to feel it in our health care. We want to feel it in our housing, in our communities. We want it to look like a first world country, from third to fourth world. That is what we want. That is what we want. We don't want PR stunt. We don't want nobody going and standing up by the dump site. And after years, 20-something years, now you can figure out it is smell. Oh, it's affecting the people of Mocha. It is affecting the people. Residents are complaining of the scent. Residents are not complaining of the scent now. They've been complaining of the scent a long time ago. But now, we're new, so we have to do something new for PR, take a picture. Click the fact the scent is still there. The scent is still there. It still smells stink. The fumes still happening there. That is incompetence. Have you not done a study to know that if you put a dump site there and you have houses close by, have you not done a study to know that it would affect them? Have you put in place any mitigating measures to avoid what is happening now? No, you've not. And so the people have them. That is what you call incompetence, brother. Don't look at city council. Look in your own house. Look in your own house. Take the mote out your eyes. You understand? Don't look for the plank. Look for the speck in mine. Don't look for the speck in Apnui. Take the plank out your own. Go and fix the dump site. Go and fix the stinking dump site that the Guyanese people gotta deal with every day. Go to Nandi Park and see how the drains in Nandi Park, the water is flooding because of the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Who's helping those people there? Go there, James. Go walk Nandi Park and see what is going on in the drain. It's not the city council's fault. It is a construction that is happening, that is being managed, a program that is being implemented by central government, your party. Those people are suffering as a result of it. You know what? But they're scared to talk. They don't want problems. They want the development. We all want the development. But when we're doing that, think about the people. So Mr. Don Singh says the PPP, the council collects $3.2 billion. Mr. Singh, you see when you throw these numbers up, Guyanese think $3.2 billion and they think a whole lot of things. What are the expenses of the council? $3.2 billion is 15 million US. You are telling me that this city on 15 million US dollars could clean, pick up garbage, do drains, do roads. For this, ask the government how much billions it has spent in Georgetown alone doing roads. Ask them how much they've spent on infrastructure in Georgetown. It's like you're giving the people basket to fetch water, I said again, and you're asking them to fill a drum. But I wanna limit this conversation to the market because James spoke about the market. I'm sorry if I come across as passionate, but I cannot help it. I cannot help it. It is dishonest. And James, I am imploring you, I am beseeching you, my brother. Let us do the honorable thing and be the example that Guyanese people are looking for. We name the name of Christ. We might not agree on everything, but at least let us follow the tenets of our Christian faith. Let us not come to the nation and speak half-truths. Let us be honest. You hear what I said? I am not saying that there are members in the city council that might not be incompetent. I am not saying that the city council councillors have not made mistakes. But I am saying that the issue you raise about them being unable to deliver quality service, the problem with that is that they're underfinanced. And they sought the help of the government to increase their revenue by asking the government to carry out a re-evaluation or a revaluation of the properties so that they can collect some higher taxes on certain properties. The government has refused. They've asked the government for bigger subvention. The government is giving them $30 million a month, and that only started in 2022. And 2021, they got zero. GPL is planting poles on the shoulders, on the parapets that are controlled by the city. Does GPL pay? Does GPL pay? We have people pouring into this city, right? What if the city council had proposed that the people coming from over the river, when they got come over the river and they enter the city of Georgetown, there's a toll booth that says pay $50 for entry so that they can get some more money. The government would shoot it down. They would make it a political, issue. All of that for what? For politics, to maintain power, to consolidate and solidify power. So as a central government now, you need every city. You got Barticle. You didn't get Linden. You don't have New Amsterdam. You don't have Georgetown. So you're gunning now for the capital city. Because it is made, that if we control central government, we should control the capital city. It ain't happening. We're reversing the tide. There's a new wave of politicians who are going to walk the streets. You see, we come from West, so we know for take hot sun. We ain't had boots, so we know for play football barefoot. So if we got walk, and we know that the hungry days, we got rackle, we wait for get we bread, for put them in we mouth. So guess what? We can talk, we can walk, we can talk. And as Christians, we can present the facts to the people. And we are hopeful. And we know that it's going to resonate with them. And they're going to reject you. Because you've caused them to suffer for 28 years out of the last 33. You've caused this city to suffer. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And if a city is suffering, it is the government that is the leaders. Because at the end of the day, what was his position under the mayor? The town clerk. The town clerk of the city. An amazing individual. I met her once. The town clerk of the city, at the end of the day, was appointed by the government. The local government minister is under the leadership of the government. Those are key positions. So you have direct impact on the success of the city and the city council. You have that, and you have failed the city council, which includes your own members. You understand? You have failed. And then you come here to blame those people. Bro, come on. Let us do business. Let us do politics different. Right? Guyanese people, again, I'm telling you that there's a new dawn in the APNU camp. People who will work, they will walk the streets, connect with you, and let you know the truth. That this government has a strategy, strangle you, cause you to suffer. And when you're hungry and you're at almost death's door, they will appear to you with a slice of bread. While everybody else in their camp goes away with a loaf. Some goes away with a cart full. Some even goes away with the ownership of the baker shop and the flour mill. And you, who they've allowed to suffer, they give you a slice of bread. That has to change. And I'm hopeful that my brother, Kiyomo, I was hopeful that James, but James today, you start on a bad track. But you know what? We believe in redemption. You could catch yourself. Come back on track. I'm hopeful that every Christian, every religious person who subscribes to a higher power would hold the government accountable and say to them, this is not the time for old-time politics. The people is what matters. Do right by the people. Give the city the money. You owe them billions, pay it. If it is made up of principal and interest, negotiate your interest down like anybody else would do and pay a substantial portion, work out a payment plan and pay the city their billions. Work on a plan to reevaluate the property so that the city can have more revenue. Increase the subvention of the city to at least 500 million as a minimum, 500 million per year. That is 2.5 million US. Do that. And when you do that, you touch me on the shoulder and say, Saiku, this is what we have done. but the city has not delivered. What sayest thou? And I promise you that I will come on this live and I will tell my leader, the government has done enough and have given the city enough and they have failed. You need to fire who you need to fire. I will say that to him. But until such time, like I said before, James, hush. Brother, hush. Pray. 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 You know. So guys, I want to thank you for your time. If I sound aggressive, it's because these things rub me the wrong way. I know everybody makes mistakes. I'm no perfect human being. I'm no perfect human being. I'm not the genius. I am not the most competent. But all I'm saying is, at least, even if you got certain facts wrong, I could have said, you know what? Hey, you were trying, and I would not have come on this live. But you lie. You know, you were not honest this morning, James. You were not honest. Maybe some people don't walk. Yes, that might be true. Maybe some residents don't know their councillor. That is true. That will change. But to say that they collect big money, no. It's only 7,000, and for city council is 66,000. To say that they have enough money, you lie. Because they don't. The expenses are too much. And so that's the kind of politics, guys, that James is playing. Because, like I said, some of you weren't here earlier. The PPP has launched their 2026 local government campaign by announcing a revival of the city. Massive investment in infrastructure, drains, road, bridges, hotels, you know, rehabilitation of cemeteries and stuff like that. It's all a part of the plan, not because they love you, but it's a part of the plan. Why they didn't do this 2 years ago? Why they didn't do this 3 years ago? We spent $5 trillion over a 5-year period. How come the city, you didn't have a revitalization plan or a revival plan for the city then? It turns up in 2025, in the last quarter, in the third quarter. Right? It turns up now. Yeah. Because you know why next year is LG. But you know what? The green will prevail. Because the green is clean. And maybe we play politics honestly. And that is why we're taken advantage of. Because we're honest with people. You know? We're honest with the citizens. And we don't go down the dirty road. For the most part. And so you know what? You know, we shut with mouth and everybody allowed to spill the lies and the lies catch on. But here one, James, they come to an end. Because every time a minister lie, I come in with the facts. My colleagues come in with facts. We can argue. We can fight on this life. Because the people of this country needs to know the truth. Mind you, I said we can fight on this life, but the truth is, I really would love us to strike a nice relationship whereby, you know, we do stuff good. Look at this. Let us talk something. There's a family in Eastville. Let me show you how we have to play politics different. And this is a perfect example. There's a family in Eastville, an Indian family, that suffered as a result of a fire, unknown origins, late in the night. They destroyed their heart. The guy is old, his pension age. His wife is pension age. And they worked very hard. He explained the story. You know, they built their house in the Eastville Co-op piece by piece. And you know, fire devastated them. They don't have insurance, which is a sad thing. So they don't know how they're going to rebuild this. So we reached out to them. We offered some support, tangible, you know, some emotional support to them. We did what we can do in the circumstance, you know, and the family was in tears. And in that moment, you know what? They expressed that you guys are the only people that came to us, you know. You guys are the only people. We could have taken that moment and say, you know what? Because the others don't care about you. We didn't say that. We didn't say the others don't care about you. We didn't say the other party didn't care about you. We didn't exploit that family. We didn't exploit their emotional vulnerability at that moment. You know what we said? We said, listen, we have people we can call in government. And I said to them, I said, I will reach out to this person, and I will bring your plight to their attention, and I'm hopeful that they will respond positively so that you can get some help. I pick up the phone. I called my brother in Christ, Kiyomo, a minister, the newly appointed Minister of Labor. I didn't call him, sorry, I texted him. And I explained to him, and he said, send me a contact. And I sent him the contact, and he said, thank you very much, Saiku. When we went back on a subsequent visit to that family, they said, you know, the Minister of Legal Affairs was here, and some other government agencies, and they told us that they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and they're going to see how they can help us. That is what putting people first looks like. Now, here's the thing. If the minister wants to go on social media and broadcast that he went there and helped that family, that's his thing. I could have held that to my chest and not called and not text Kiyomo. I could have held that to my chest because you know what? I don't want the PPP to get no praise for helping this family. I could have done that because days have passed and nobody responded to that family. We, the APNU, went to that family, and I could have held that close to my chest. But holding it close to my chest doesn't help our people. Not being willing to work to deliver service to people and help to people is not in the best interest of our own ethnic unity and our own development. So I reached out. I could care less who got the praise. What is more important to me is that these people, the people of this country, is able to get what they need and what they truly deserve, and that is the help in time of trouble. And that family was in trouble. And you know what? I am now hopeful. Promises were made to that family. And I'm going to reach out back to the minister, to the young minister, and say to him, hey, we've not seen any movements. Can you reach out to whoever is the relevant authority and see if they can help this family? That is what working for people looks like. That is what putting people first looks like. It is not to come on this internet and say, we visit that family, and the PPP did not visit that family, and they got so much money, and they drive in big fancy vehicle and live in a big fancy. That is not the program. The program is that our people must benefit. Too long our people have been suffering. Too long our people have been suffering because of back and forth and the big fighting. Chanel, how you doing, babes? You good? Hard worker, that. Hard worker. And we could have said that. But we did not. So play your politics. Nothing is wrong. Play your politics. But here, once I'm in the game, you can play it right. I will hold you accountable, James. Because you know what? If I know a man is a liar, and he doesn't believe in God, he has no family, no connection, I could expect anything from him. And I could hold him accountable. But you know who I will hold even to a higher degree? Somebody like you, James. Because you know why? You subscribe to the tenets of Christianity. I will hold Kiyomo accountable. You hold me accountable, Kiyomo can hold me accountable. I will hold Cheryl accountable. Cheryl can hold me accountable. And we all hold each other accountable. So well, we will hold accountable. Because that is what we're here for. Shine your light so that this world could see and glorify your Father who's in heaven. That's what you need. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's what you need to do. So don't come here and talk about these councillors are collecting no big fat money. It's 7,000 loan they get. At city council it's 66,000. Don't come here and say that they have all the resources they need, because they do not. Right? They do not. The PPP NDCs get a certain subvention when they submit their plans, and in most cases the APNU NDCs, according to the person that gave me the information, says that they get sometimes half of what the PPP NDCs get. That is called what? What you call that? What you call that? That is being biased. You understand? Then you say that the city council collects rent from the people in the market. They do. But the truth is, from 737 stars, they only collect on average $5,400,000 a month. An average of $7,327 per stall. How, with a budget, employment cost of $2.4 million, waste disposal, sanitation costs, and security, can that money be used? Can that money cover those costs and still have money left over for maintenance? You're looking at almost 60 million. Capping the whole market will probably cost you $50 million to cap that market, to do back that roof alone. That whole market roof might probably cost you $80 to $100 million just to fix that roof. Right? But you don't do it for the market. But you don't do it, James. James, you don't do it for Stabroek. But you know what? You go to Monrepo and you build a whole market. You go to Luzignan and you build a whole market. You go to Diamond Grove and you build a whole market. PPP constituencies, but you left Georgetown. You left them people where you're coming over say you want the vote. You want their vote. And you coming out for tell them that, you know what? Me ain't no time with you know. It's your city council. James, that is terrible, bro. Terrible. You know, I'm sorry I had to come on this internet and call your name, but the truth must be told. And we are going to beat the PPP at the local government elections. Fair and square. There is a new wave, I tell you, in the APNU. You know what will happen? What has happened is that our people, our supporters have been scared of being victimized. And you know what? They don't share the posts. They don't like the post because they don't want the boss see. But all of the changing. Because by now they realize that if the game is fair, then we got to play different. You know, I see Miss Chase Green on this live. Miss Chase Green, respect 100. I don't care what people say. I respect you. You're a friend of our family. But I know you can speak to these things. That while you were male, your council was cash-strapped because of the unwillingness of the government to give you a proper subvention. You know, the government even at that time blamed the same woman about having unaudited accounts and not being able. And this woman said live in interviews that she requested an audit of the accounts so that the government doesn't have that argument no more. And they never did. Miss Green can testify to that. And James is going to come here and say those things. If Miss Green is going to be honest, I expect her to be honest. And she's going to tell you that the city does not earn enough money. Yes, there might be some incompetence, but the truth is the city does not earn enough money to take care of its bills. It happened when she was mayor, and a lot of people gave her flack for it. But the truth is the city never had enough money. And if she's honest, she would come and defend Mentor in that city council to say, you know what? True. Because she's right there. They might have the internal ramblings and arguments, but the truth is they don't have enough money to do it. Yeah? They don't have enough money to do it. You know? So anyway, guys, I had enough of your time. How much time I done spend on this internet? I had enough of your time. I need to get back to work before my wife comes and tell me I'm fired. Right? So guys, thank you very much. I want you to like and I want you to follow my page. This is the page that I'm going to be on, sharing our work. The APNU page, we're going to be sharing the work. I encourage you, listen, do not complain that you're not seeing the APNU. The thing about it is that you have to be able to share what we put out so that the information can go to the people. Share. Tag using your highlights. Tag your friend, tag your neighbor. I'm going to be sharing as much as I could on this page. Mind you, don't expect me to be here every day. I'm going to only share on issues that make sense and that I have facts to defend. I'm not going to come here and abuse. Don't expect that from me. It's not going to happen. Right? And let me say thank you very much on behalf, I know the party did it, but I want to say on behalf of myself and the APNU members, those of us who've campaigned, who've knocked on your doors, those of you who've given us an opportunity to explain, to answer some of your burning questions, I want to say thank you very much for your support. The turnout was not what we expected, and I want to tell you guys something. If you had turned out 15 percentage points more or 20 percentage points more than you did this go round, the PPP would not have been in power. And that turnout is what we're going to look for at LG, and that turnout we're going to look for at come 2030. Let me tell you something. The APNU is going to rise. The APNU is going to rise. Don't worry with resignation and all that you see going on. Don't worry with those things. Right? There is a crew, there is a bunch of people in that party right now who is resolute, focused, competent, and are willing to do what they must do, that the people of this country can live the life that they're supposed to live. We're gonna deliver. If you had given us a chance, I'm telling you, we were gonna deliver first world healthcare service. We were gonna deliver to you housing schemes that you would have not seen in the history of this country. By the time you travel to America, you would have been asking yourself if you go to probably a third world country sometimes when you go to certain places, because of the kind of structured way in how we would have done development. You know? So guys, thank you, Shay. Thank you. So like the page, and you know, just look out for any updates, right? Yeah. And some of you guys asked about music. I'm gonna drop a song for you. I love you. God bless you guys richly. God bless our country. Thanks.